Hello, this is 15 Minutes or Less. I'm James, and with me, as always, is Amy. Say hi, Amy.
Hi.
Paris Stu over the other side of the table.
Hello.
And Amy Blaker.
Hiya.
See, look, I didn't make a joke that time.
I get an intro this time. I'm actually happy about that.
That's good.
Damn. Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening, watching to the podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, you could be watching us on LinkedIn. Where else are we? At the moment?
We are on SoundCloud. We are on iTunes.
We're on all your platforms.
Anywhere you want to listen to us, we can be.
And if we're not there, we'll literally rip out this studio and bring it to you.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. There's a lot of stuff here. So this is the podcast where we talk about a subject for 15 minutes or less, and we work our way through the alphabet. And this week, we have reached the letter F, and we are talking about facts. So I'm going to start the clock, and we have 15 minutes or less starting now. Has anyone got any facts that they'd like to share?
Yes, James, that's correct. I do. I have one.
Oh, Amy White, yes, what's your fact?
Okay, did you know that on average, people fear spiders more than they fear death?
I did know that, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, actually. It's arachnophobia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like spiders. I mean, I've got a little bit better with age, but they freak me out. They got too many legs, man. Like,
That's the thing. This is it. Most of fears come from like the conditioning period of learning that something's dangerous for you. But when studies have sort of like looked into it, they've tried to find out why are the reasons that we're scared of spiders, because spiders actually, I mean, especially in the UK, aren't really that seriously dangerous.
no.
So after they sort of like looked into it, it just turns out that it's to do with the way that they move really weirdly and their legs.
They move too quick. That's what
freaks.
freaks me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if spiders were slow, it wouldn't be an issue for me.
How about spider crabs? You seen those?
Oh, they're huge.
Humongous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All the
no.
weird little legs.
I don't like crabs in general.
No, I don't either. Anyone else got any facts around the table that they'd like to share? Amy Blaker, I think you had one you wanted to share before we actually started recording this podcast.
Remind me of that fact.
I think it went something around the lines of, I'm hungry. That's a fact.
Oh, yes. I'm hungry. That's a fact.
Hungry for food, which is also an F. So that's like a double,
Fact.
a double fact.
Facted. Fact.
A facted fact. Oh, it's terrible. Paris, do you have any facts that you'd like to share? A fact, give us a fact about yourself, Paris.
Fact about me. I'm a great person.
I love that.
Obviously, we're living in the era of free information. There's so much information around that false information and alternative facts, to coin a phrase, is spread faster than ever. So I wanted to put to you, my panel. I've got 5 here. Whether we get through them or not, you can jump in with other things if you like. I've got 5 things here, and I want you to decide whether they are true or whether they are false. Fact or fiction, if you will. There we go. I just like that one too much. It's mainly because there's coloured buttons on this desk. I just like the colours. But nobody cares. Anyway, so I'm going to start with the first one. If you're watching, listening, join in, have a little think. No Googling, no cheating. Let's try and use our brains. Let's try and engage in something serious here.
I've not got Google here. Just going to push that away.
Turn that off. Off. No, put it down.
I'm not should I just sit here like this?
You are literally
anything.
on camera. So if you cheat, I mean, Paris is going to dob you in. Amy White definitely going to dob you in. And you'll be off the podcast.
Great.
Good. Was that clear?
Yeah,
That's a fact.
That's a
That's
fact.
a fact.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so the first one that I'd like to put around the table. Toilet seats are full of germs. Fact or fiction?
Oh, fact.
Fact.
Yeah.
Give us some reasoning.
Well, I watched a TV show where the people go and clean houses and they did that little swabby thing and put it in the machine and it told you how many bacteria was on the toilet seat. So, yes.
Paris, any thoughts? Toilet seats are full of germs. Fact or fiction?
Compared to what?
Well, it's just a statement.
Compared to nothing.
I feel like it's too obvious. I want to say fact, but
Yeah, I feel the same. I think it's
Oh.
too obvious.
Hold on a minute. Are germs bacteria? Is it the same thing?
Well,
Read
I mean,
it again,
It's a bit
but
tricky.
slower.
Is it a trick question?
look, it's just, the statement is toilet seats are full of germs, and there seems like a pretty universal answer of toilet seats are full of germs. I mean, it's something that I've heard my entire life.
I'm going to say fiction because just it's a wild.
I think it's
answer.
a trick.
If we're going to say bacteria is the same thing as germs, then yes.
So it's one of the most common misconceptions that toilet seats are full of germs, which I found so hard to believe when I read this. But it's because, I mean, you know, obviously bathrooms aren't the most sanitary place. We all know what we use toilets for. Looking at you, Toby, if you're watching this. But there were some studies conducted a few years ago in the United States. And I mean, I don't want to pass judgment on the state of their toilets, but you know what I mean. They found that actually toilet seats are relatively clean. And that's mainly because they're disinfected or washed regularly on the whole. Now, obviously, if you're an unhygienic person that never cleans it, obviously, as Amy White quite rightly pointed out, they're going to do a swab on your toilet and it's going to come up with disgusting amounts of bacteria. But on the whole, and this is quite disgusting, they
Go
found
on.
10 times fewer germs on toilet seats in the United States than they did on people's mobile phones.
Yeah, I've seen this stat.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking that this is going to lead to.
Yikes.
Yeah, and that goes in your hand, in your face. By
Do you know
your-
what I thought you were going to say there, James, for
What?
a moment? McDonald's screens.
Yeah, I bet they're germ-ridden. Oh.
There was a fact about that, wasn't there, recently on, you know, on the web.
On the web.
On the
Well, this
World
is a
Wide Web.
great moment to mention that McDonald's are the sponsor. No, not the.
Are we all
But
right?
if they were, life would be great.
Wasn't there like feces found on their screens?
Yeah.
We're not going to get them to sponsor now, are we?
It's done now.
Sorry,
It's done.
Having it.
I wanted all the chicken nuggets.
Just don't touch them with your fingers.
Okay, I've got another
no
one for you.
sauce. No sauce.
Yeah, no sauce.
No sauce. No sauce.
Just had to get that in there.
So, second statement I've got for you here: fact or fiction? You lose most of your body heat through your head.
Fact.
Fact.
I would say fact as
Fact.
well.
Okay. What's your reasoning? You lose most of your body heat through your head. Why is that a fact?
I know it.
You know it. You know it
Yep.
from what life?
Yep.
Life
That's why you
experience.
put hats on.
That's why
in
you
the
put
winter.
hats on in winter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you do a lot of
And
activities.
also-
Your brain doesn't never shut down.
Also, your hands and your feet are the other areas where you lose heat.
And
The
what,
waste.
you got anything further to add?
No, just that it was something that was always told. You know that everyone always says that you lose your heat through your head.
General knowledge.
Yeah. Interesting. If you're watching this, please do leave your comments below. Maybe we'll go through some at
This
some
is
point.
where we're all wrong.
Well, we're often told to wear a hat or a cap because it's cold. And we're told often that it's because about 90% of human body heat is lost through your head. But according to the British Medical Journal, that's not strictly true.
Interesting.
That's it. I'm
yeah.
leaving.
You only lose about 7 to 10% of your body heat through your head, which is no more than you would lose through any other exposed part of your body, be it your hands, be it your feet, be it your back.
So maybe that's why they say that, it's because it's always the exposed part of your body.
Yeah, so you don't actually lose any more heat than you do anywhere else. It's just because it's not covered up. So it's not a fact.
I'm disappointed.
Well, we have more nerve in our hands and head. Maybe we feel it more. I don't know.
don't know all the facts that I've ever known now. I feel like they're all wrong.
Lies.
The whole world is
My
being
whole
brought
life
down.
is
Don't
lies.
go eating your dinner off a toilet seat, though, Ames. It's not, you know.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because Amy's going to do that now. Like, oh, so yeah.
That's why I was planning to have my dinner tonight. Damn it.
Because normally I eat it off my mobile phone, you know, but now toilet seats, they're cleaner than that, so it's good. Okay, so number 3. Statement number 3, caffeine dehydrates you.
Yes.
Fact or fiction? Caffeine dehydrates
This
you.
is like very common knowledge, so I would say fiction.
Fiction.
trick?
I would say fiction.
Is it tricky?
Fiction, fact. Any reasoning?
I don't know anymore. Like,
I'm
I've lost all
trying
my
to.
knowledge.
I'm trying to psychoanalyze you to see like which one is the fact one. I would say fiction.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's often, is it like particularly people if they drink coffee, isn't it? That's the one, if you drink coffee,
Yeah.
you know, it dehydrates you. Well, drinking coffee makes you dehydrated is the common theory. That's what people commonly say. And although caffeine drinks do have a slight diuretic effect, researchers found that you are at no increased risk of dehydration from only drinking caffeine throughout the day. So they did a study of coffee drinkers compared to non-coffee drinkers, and dehydration, nope. You go to the toilet more. But that's it. You don't get more dehydrated. So, I mean, that blew my mind, that one.
The only reason why I could think they probably thought that was because caffeine obviously makes you a little bit bouncy, and maybe people feel they've got a bit more energy because of it and burning more, and so,
Absolutely.
becoming more dehydrated.
Right, this one's a bit of a weird one. Does everybody know what an Iron Maiden is?
Yes. The band?
No, not the band. But it's what the band is named
It's
after.
that torture thing.
So yeah, Iron Maidens were used as medieval torture devices, is the statement. Fact or fiction? So an Iron Maiden is basically an iron casket type thing, a little bit like a sarcophagus,
Yeah, iron one.
but it had spikes
I know,
and
I
spears
knew
on the
that when
inside,
you said
and
that.
they used to use it as a medieval torture device where people would be strapped in, and they'd shut the doors on them, and they get pierced through their body, and they bleed out to death.
Fact. Because
You say it's a myth. That's what.
Well, I'm not saying no. That's what I'm explaining what an Iron Maiden is, and the statement is Iron Maidens were used as medieval torture devices.
Oh, I'd say a fact.
Okay.
I'd say fact, just because once I went to the Isle of Wight and there was a torture chamber museum, and it showed that as one of the methods of torture.
Okay, interesting. Anyone else got any reasons for why an Iron Maiden?
I think it might have been in the Tower of London when I went to see it. No, maybe. I'm doubting myself now.
I
I've got
haven't
them all
seen
wrong,
one.
so-
I'm just saying it's fact because I think humans are capable of doing that.
No, yeah. I mean, it doesn't. I wouldn't put it past anyone around this table. Actually, looking at all of you, knowing you as I do. But Paris do quite rightly said earlier, Iron Maiden, the band. Whether you're a fan of Iron Maiden or not,
Is that torture to listen to that?
a lot of people don't necessarily know that's the name of this particular torture device. It's horrible. It's got these spikes which impale victims from all sides, so they bleed to death. The thing is, though, it never existed.
Oh, wow. So someone just made it up.
Yep. So it was a hoax that was popularized in the 18th and 19th century by a couple of guys.
Pranksters.
Yeah, basically. And it was so nasty, no one really looked into it. They were like, oh, that's awful. And obviously, it was sensationalized and, would appear in museums or around various
Wow,
fairs
that's
and stuff.
So weird.
So yeah,
Oh.
not actually used as a
Wow.
medieval
Oh, that's
form of
good.
torture. Right, so we've only got 3 minutes left. This is the last statement. Humans have 5 senses.
Fiction.
That's a very quick answer.
Yeah, fiction.
Fiction. Amy Blaker.
What
Humans
they said,
have.
because I've got the rest of them wrong, so. Fiction.
Well, that's a decent reason. I'd be curious to know why you think it's not 5 senses.
Well, I've heard that we have more senses. We have a more sense of knowing the space when we are if we don't see. We have a sense of heat, can sense if something is hot or cold. There were more, but I
Yeah.
cannot remember anymore. But yeah, it's not only 5.
Well, the one, yeah, I mean, as I say, when I read this, it's, sight, smell, touch, taste, hearing. Those are the ones that you learn at school.
And 6th sense, of course.
And of course, if you love those movies. But apparently, we're forgetting about 15 other senses that humans are alleged to have. And this is according to research by neuroscientists. Some of those capabilities include, and I'm going to pronounce these terribly, nociception, which is the ability to feel pain, chronoception, which is the ability to feel the passing of time, which
Wow.
I feel every
It's
time I
happened.
sit around this table. Anyway, I was looking for the last, but I can never remember the buttons. Yeah, and there's things like sense of balance and all those kinds of things. So yeah, that was quite interesting. I didn't know. So all of those weren't facts.
Interesting.
Wow.
So there you go.
All lies.
All lies. I mean, it's all a lie, isn't it? Everything. So we've only got a minute left. Now that we've been through that, has it completely blown your mind? Do you all feel like
Yeah.
can anything be trusted anymore?
No, I feel a bit disappointed with life in general.
Well, I think you should always question everything,
Mm.
but you should be careful to not question too much as well. Because after watching that Netflix documentary about Behind the Curve, I think that's one of the problems they had. They kind of stuck in questioning too much without going for the answer. It's
This is the flat Earth.
Yeah, flat Earth
Yeah.
theory documentary on Netflix. Yeah, because it's very easy to question everything, but you know it takes time to give answer to all of those questions.
Mm.
Absolutely. Well, I guess that's it. That's brought us to a pretty good natural conclusion. We've got 10 seconds left. So thank you very much for listening and watching our podcast. We'll be back again next week for another 15 minutes or less, where we'll be going on to the letter G, and the subject is to be revealed. Ooh, but if you want to send us suggestions, just leave a comment below.
Game of Thrones.
Spoiler.
Anyway, thanks very much. Bye.